Yay Networks.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Spill the Beans podcast.
Happy end of the week. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. We are here with baby girl once again. So if you hear any squeaks, grunts, anything, it's her talking to you on the podcast.
Yeah, guys, besides Miss Belen being with us, this is a very special podcast because this is the first podcast ever recorded during a solar eclipse.
Oh, I was like, what is he going to say? I can't believe we didn't get to see it fully here.
Yeah, I guess it happened more on the East Coast, like that side of the country.
I want to know what science goes behind that. That makes no sense.
It's just the position of the Earth, babe, at the time of the year.
Oh.
Because the Earth is like this, and it depends where it's like, you know?
Okay.
That's what they say around town.
That's what they're saying around the socials.
But that means like the whole side of the Earth that was like, you know, like dark, sleeping. Oh my, your sister's so annoying.
What is she saying?
She like sends me
What?
until I answer question marks.
What?
She's like, Jonathan.
Who?
And then question mark. Anyways, guys, welcome back. Last week, I know some of you guys were upset. You know, we did a re-upload.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was either you get no podcast, or for like the 40% of you that are new, or maybe you missed the podcast, then you get a podcast that like was old, you know?
I saw a comment that was like, oh, it's probably an upload a re-upload because they couldn't film a podcast, which is understandable. And like, she was so kind. So I was like, oh, thank you, girl, whoever that was. That was so sweet. So sweetness. What did she say?
Can you pick us up?
Right now?
Yeah. Anyways, guys, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, people are upset. And obviously, you know, for the diehard fans out there, some of you guys are like super diehard
Not
to the
the
point.
diehard fans.
That's what they're called, right?
Yeah, but it sounds silly.
Why does it sound silly?
Because it's like, I don't
There's
know.
people that have been watched every single episode of Voice Babe. Can you
know.
believe that?
I can't.
Those people deserve it all. Like, I wish that one day we can do like a meet and greet or something that like we can meet those people, you know?
A VIP podcast meet and greet.
Because you know what? In public, yo soy muy famoso, you know? But in public, when I get like, you know, recognized quotes, it's always like I see your guys' podcast.
That's true.
It's never like
Me too.
J&J, you know? It's like I see the podcast. And I was like, whoa, that's like really cool, you know?
Yeah. I guess that's really sweet. I think it puts it into perspective when I watch my favorite YouTuber's podcast. I literally bought a Patreon subscription to watch her podcast. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, it's just silly to me to think that there's someone out there that likes us enough to like the way that I like her, you know, like my favorite YouTubers.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for loving us.
We appreciate you. Yeah, but since we technically haven't talked to you guys in 2 weeks, we just wanted to obviously catch up, let you know how we missed 2 under 2 by
a month.
So I want to call us 2 under 2.
Absolutely not, because Franco is not the same person
you
he
think
was.
a month made a big difference to where like it would have been way harder?
Absolutely. Like
No,
you can
if anything,
even
it
tell
would've been
just by the way
easier.
that his vocabulary has developed. Like he communicates so much better now than
But
he
he
did a
also
month
understands
ago.
more.
Exactly.
So they say the older they are, the more they understand. So maybe there would have been more room for jealousy and stuff like that. So if he's younger, he's just more of a baby.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, guys, let's catch up. I mean, we are nearly okay. By the time you're watching this, she's already a month old, but she'll be a month old tomorrow. No, 8, 9, 10 on Wednesday. So we're a month out of postpartum. 2 under 2. Wait, how would you say it?
What?
2 and 2? No, because he's not under 2.
No.
Anyways, with a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old. So we're just going to catch you up, see how it's been, how life's been, how our relationship's been. Do we want more kids? I feel like we always address this question just because. So instead of you guys asking us all the time, we're just going to address her in every podcast.
Yeah, we're going to be the ones to annoy you this time. Yeah.
Literally.
But I think it's been great so far. Obviously, it's ups and downs. Sometimes I can't stop touching Blanca from how much I love her. And sometimes I can't stop touching her from how much I want to strangle her.
Oh, shit.
But no, you feel the same way. And honestly, guys, it's expected. But we're persevering.
Yeah, guys, I feel like this postpartum experience has been a lot more emotional for me. I can't really pinpoint or remember exactly how I was with Franco in my emotion sense. But this postpartum, I've been so emotional. Like, I will literally, I don't know, I feel like I've just been not an overthinker. Yeah, I guess an overthinker now. And I just get really sad sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'm not used to being sad, you know?
No, but I told Blanca a long time ago, I was like, babe, you need to start going to therapy again. You need to start doing this because you're just a ticking time bomb. Like, no one, as much as they're happy or want to call themselves happy, is truly happy for like a long time, you know? You got to let the water builds up and you got to like open the faucet every once in a while. And I believe the right way is through therapy and not lashing out at your partner, you know? Not that I'm saying like before, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I think I'm going to start going to therapy again because I need it. I think it's just, for me, you know what's been like, I guess it's like a feeling of guilt that has been rising up lately. Yeah. You know, like I feel guilty and it's not even, like it has a lot to do with Franco and I feel sad for him, but he doesn't, like it makes it easier because he doesn't make it seem like he's sad. Like he's literally living his best life, right?
But if he was older. Yeah,
but even then, like the guilt that it has stemmed from me is just mixed in with the feeling of gratitude, I feel like. And if I'm being honest, like being postpartum is just hard because nobody freaking tells you like, oh, you're gonna bleed from your butthole and your vagina and your nipples and you're gonna get cramps and your head's gonna hurt and you're gonna be sad and some days you're gonna be really happy and some days you're gonna cry all day and sometimes you don't even know what's gonna be wrong, you know? So like nobody tells you that aside from dealing with your mental state, you're also dealing with the physical state. And for me, it's been like I want to do so many things, but I can't because I physically can't. Like I'll walk and I still feel cramps, or nobody tells you that you're gonna stand up and it's gonna feel like your water just broke again and it's all blood, you know, or that you're gonna be in disposable underwear for a long time. So it's like all of that mixed into how you feel mentally is really hard. And I just feel like nobody talks about it. Like you watch YouTubers and they're like, oh yeah, I'm bleeding still, and oh yeah, I bled for 2 weeks, but nobody tells you like exactly what happens with your body, you know, and that a hole the size of a plate is in your stomach and it's closing up. Oh yeah. Because you know, you saw the placenta when she showed it, and like that big is the hole that I had in my stomach closing up, and my organs were going back into place. Yeah. Can you imagine all of that while still being like mentally sad and then still having to care for a baby and nurse 24/7? But yeah, guys.
Yeah, but everything has its perks. That's
postpartum for you. Yeah, and
kids
then you
are always gonna love their mom more.
And you look at your kids and you're like, oh shit, I would do this 2 more times, you know? Yeah. It doesn't matter the things that you go through, a C-section, a natural birth, a really hard traumatic birth, like you literally
and then on top of that you have, you know, conflicts with your partner. Yeah. If you already have one kid like we do, you have his problems. I know they're very minor right now, but let's say shout out to all the parents that maybe they have a 7-year-old and your kid's getting bullied at school, imagine, or they don't have friends at school, or this or and that, and you gotta go through postpartum,
having to wake up at 7 to get him ready for school. You know, I feel like parents are just heroes, honestly. Like shout out to every single parent out there, especially the ones that have to like go to work and then still feel all of this on top of it, you know, and like you have to leave your babies. Like I just can't imagine. And I will always just be so thankful to you guys because I have Jonathan here and because we're able to work from home and take care of our kids. But it's freaking insane, guys. And I get like a lot of people could tell me, you have it so easy, girl, you have so much help. And I get that, and I am very thankful for that, trust me. So that's where my guilt has come in lately. Like I'll be sitting and I just think about all the moms that didn't have or don't have my help, and like all the moms that have to cook themselves breakfast, and all the moms that have to like play with their toddler while holding their baby, you know. I think of all that and I get so sad. It's just so sad. And I literally cry. Yeah. It's like a feeling of gratitude mixed with a feeling of guilt. But yeah, guys, that's how I'm doing over here. But honestly, like aside from that, I'm doing pretty well. if I do say so myself. I feel like every week it gets easier, don't you think?
Yeah, I think the best part is just having healthy babies.
Yeah.
Like, we've been very blessed with that. If our baby was sick or going through something, man, it would just, for me, that's my weak spot. Like, sick babies, sick kids in general, and that makes me really sad. So as long as my babies are healthy, I can power through anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as we get closer to my 6 weeks and I get my clear from my doctor, it's going to be so much easier, like just putting her on and going to the park with Franco, going to the store, going to do activities with him, because honestly, like she doesn't make anything hard. She makes it so easy. She's just literally, look at her. She's just sleeping all the time. So yeah, as we get to the 6 weeks, I think it'll be a little bit easier. And hopefully, guys, because if Jonathan's been sleeping with Franco, and I told him the other day, I was like, babe, how are we going to get you back in here? How are we slowly going to get him used to just being by himself,
I think I started it last night unintentionally, but intentionally. I left Blanca's room and Belen's room like around 2:30 last night. And I was like, I want to start, kind of pushing that limit to maybe one day. Yeah, it's like 4 and he wakes me up and I'll go, but then it gets later and later every time,
He slowly gets used to it. Yeah, and it just helps that he really likes his room. Like he's never been like, oh, I want to go back to your room or anything like that. So hopefully.
That's a pro tip right there, guys. Make their room super fun.
Yeah.
Because Franco has animals. He has a bed that's shaped like you can put blankets and make it like a little tent. So he loves his room. That's a hack right there. Don't go for the aesthetic, like boring, twin bed, because that's going to bite you in the butt later on, because they will want to go back with you.
You have to make their room their safe space. Like, since he has his bathroom in there, he recently discovered like bath time in a big tub with Jonathan, and then my mom and I bought him bath bubbles. Oh my god, he literally, like, it's 7 and he's like, what does he say?
Bubbles.
And I'm like,
and I didn't know she bought them that, because recently one day Franco was like, oh, Bubbles, mom. And I was the one doing nighttime routine. So I was like, whatever she bought him must be so freaking fun for him not to shower with me anymore, because I would make it fun. And Blanca would be like, so we're in like this little subconscious competition to like be Franco's favorite, which is a good thing, obviously.
Not favorite. I think it's to put him to bed, like for his night routine. Yeah.
No, it's to be his favorite. I see. Blanca gets so sad when Franco wants to have fun with me, guys, or he prefers me over her, which is like, again, it sounds childish, but it's very healthy in my opinion, because there's parents that don't even want anything to do with their kids, So the fact that we're fighting to be his favorite says a lot. But I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, the baby talk is nice, but I don't have kids or I'm not married. Guys, always listen to these conversations, but like, if you have the time and you're like, I'm not there yet, then learn something from it, right?
Or I think it's good for people, because if our followers are in our age range, if they don't have kids, they have friends that do. And I think that when you listen to podcasts like this, you learn how to be a more supportive friend through parenthood, because when you're single, no matter how much you can be like, I understand that you're going, no, like, until you have kids, you have no idea what parents go through, and that's why your parents are always like, when you have your kids, you're gonna know. And we're always like, yeah, whatever. And then you have your kids and you're like, oh shit, like they were right.
Or maybe you check off the list. You're like, okay, I think we're ready to have a kid. And you go, the normal checklist is like, do we make enough money? Yes. Do we have a house? Yes. We have pets in a loving home. Yes. We have 2 cars. Yes. And you check off all these things, and then later come find out those things, I mean, they matter, but it's like, are you and your spouse truly okay? You know? Because the other day I was thinking this, babe, and it's funny how every time we have an argument, me salen los TikToks that could have solved that after, You're
like, well, I don't need these no more.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, oh, maybe for next time, But I feel like since Blanca and we grew up so fast, and so, like, you had your family problems and I had mine. We never got to really, like, this is going to get deep here, but we never got to really, like, lay our cards on the table with each other. Like, does that make sense? Like, you always had your traumas with your mom and with your dad. I had my traumas with my mom and stuff like that. So when we have conflict, neither you or I, even though we have this podcast and we give amazing, advice and we help so many people, it's like that one saying, the barber always has long hair, the carpenter always has a shitty house, because they're too focused on helping other people with that, right? So we're so focused on other relationships and helping, but like you and I, we grew so fast that you were like taking care of your sisters, your family, and I was, trying to like grow up and fight with my parents every day.
Well,
and
you
it's
left
like,
your family.
And I left my family. So it's like when push comes to shove and you and I have a conflict, it's like very like explosive, because we don't have we never laid that out. I feel like, because we were so worried on other people for a long time. And like, let me give you guys an example. The other day, me salió este TikTok like after we got in a fight, but we were getting ready to go out, and all day I had been hinting that I kind of didn't want to go out with Blanca and her whole family. I just wanted to be more like a boys' day, like me and Franco, because I had very specific things planned, and they were only gonna, like, I know this sounds mean, but like they were only gonna slow us down. I had already promised him to do so many things that with girls and shopping, you know how just that gets backtracked. And also for her, I was like, she's going to have more time shopping and enjoying herself and her family if she doesn't have a screaming toddler around. So then, after we got in this argument because Blanca was like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so then I saw.
I love that you're going over it. Like,
no,
that's
but
how it went.
it happened like in 10 seconds because we don't have the coping mechanisms, right? The right communication skills for stuff like this. Like
for small stuff.
Yeah. Say you have like a big family problem. I'm there to help you.
Yeah.
And then if I have one, you're there to make me feel better.
Yeah.
But when it comes to truly a problem between you and me, it's like a puzzle piece, which is weird. You and I can tackle the world for another problem. But when it comes to you and me, it's very hard. So me salió this TikTok, right? And remember, my dad the other day, guys, he came over for a carne asada. My mom was, where was she? She was like out of state?
No, I think she was like taking care of work things.
Oh, so just my dad and my brothers came in. My dad had talked to us about this, how powerful the subconscious is, and like how you do things based on subconscious trauma. And it's like, let me give you the example he gave us. He used to sing when he was little, and one time his dad told him that he sings like a gay guy. So my dad, ever since right there and then, my dad was like, it didn't affect me. Like, I wasn't butthurt or like, it's just the Mexican.
It just flew over his head.
It just flew over his head. But then he started realizing it, and he realized it a few, weeks ago or whatever. He went to a retiro, and it hit him that like God gave him that memory, because my dad never sings and never like does that. And he's very shy to sing.
He never sang again.
And then God kind of showed him that memory. And it's like, do you remember that when you were like young, you were singing all the time and your dad called you gay for it? And my dad was like, wow, like, even though it didn't even hurt his feelings then, it just stuck in his subconscious, This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, with our newborn baby here, our social battery is drained. I would even say it's non-existent right now. Therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life that doesn't drain your battery. I love therapy because with 2 kids here in the house running around all the time, I feel like it gives me time. That way I can express how I feel to someone that's non-biased. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/spillthebeans today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/spillthebeans. So then I saw this thing after Blanca and I got in a fight, and it said, I should have liked it or screenshotted it, but it said something.
CEO.
It said something along the lines of like, women, girls, daughters that don't have a necessarily present dad or like an involved dad always want to do everything later on with their husband and get very mad when their husband does not want to be a part of it, because the man that lacked when they were young, they want it all with their husband. And me, guys, being the oldest, being the oldest by a large margin. You know, my little brothers are 12. My little brothers are 12 years younger than me. My sister's 7 years younger than me. I'm very, 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 very independent. I can go days without people. I don't have to talk to people.
You
I
like being
to be,
alone.
yeah. And so is Franco kind of on his own way like that too. So me being like the, you know, chill, back off, babe. It's like a boys' day, you know, I got this. And her being very like,
I want to do everything with you.
Exactly. So, but if we would have known this or talked about this prior to having kids, prior to like when we were dating, I would have known this, you know? And deep down, I know that it's like Blanca always wants to do stuff with me. And like, how do I tell her that I just want to have my own time sometimes? And it sounds mean. And to her, it's the meanest thing I could possibly as her husband tell her.
Because it hits my trauma spot.
I didn't know. I was like, why does Blanca get so upset when I tell her that I don't want to do everything together? Sometimes I would see, you know, like other relationship TikToks and stuff. It's like girls have to have their own friends and guys have to have their own friends and have their own activities. And sometimes I'd be like, babe, go hang out with your friends. Go do stuff with your friends. No, I just want to hang out with you. Or sometimes I would be like, babe, it's already 6. What are you still doing here? I canceled. I'll just stay here with you. I'll be like, babe, like what? Like, you know, which made me feel very, very good. Obviously, I'm just that cool to hang out with. But then I was like, okay, this is, after I saw that TikTok,
There's a deeper
I was like,
meaning to this.
This is rooted in trauma.
Yeah.
Which is like, gives me like scary movie vibes. You know, when like the little kid is playing and it's all friendly and it's like, oh my God, you have an imaginary friend. And you know how the movie starts off very lighthearted?
Yeah. And then
like, oh, you're
scary.
playing. And then the root of it is evil because it's a demon. I feel like, oh my God, my wife just wants to spend all this time with me. How lovely. And then you go and look at the root of the trauma. Oh shit, this is evil because she didn't have a dad, air quotes.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I wish I would have seen that TikTok before we got into that argument because that place of understanding would have been different. I was like, wow, my wife, I've been so fortunate to be a part of her life since we were 16, 15 years old. And for her to look at me like that or to always want to be with me, it's because she lacked that, you know? And then 1, I see it like that. And 2, I want to be that for Belen. So she doesn't depend on,
so she can be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And also because Jonathan, like, he thinks a lot, right? So I'm sure he was thinking all day, like, damn, I just want to have a boys' day. Like, damn, I already promised Franco all this. And what I told him when we started talking again, I was like, all you had to say was, hey, babe, what about if you go to Target with your mom and your sisters and Belen so that you guys can have a nice little shopping day, and Franco and I go to the park because you're not going to want him crying in the car all day, right?
Park, Petco, Shields, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. So I'm like, if like that's all you had to do, but instead like he was just quiet and it looked like he was in a bad mood, but he was like obviously thinking of all of this. So I'm like, all you had to do to avoid this conflict was say, hey babe, I think we should do this instead, and it would have been fine and dandy. But he didn't. Like he said, we lacked that communication, so it like exploded. And me being like, damn, the one time I'm gonna go out, he doesn't want to hang out with me. And for you, it was like, damn, like I already had all these plans with Franco, and you decided to change them right away.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a lot of that. And also, I feel like back before we got married, we didn't have resources like we do now. Like I feel like TikTok, if you can't afford therapy, if you can't go to therapy, like if you follow all of these therapists on TikTok, it helps you tremendously. And when like things like that pop up, I'm like, oh damn, like that's why I'm like this, or that's why I think this way. So we didn't have those back then, and I think we kind of just brushed all of our traumas under the rug, and then slowly like they started coming out, you know.
And we just,
and it's coming out now when we have kids, because we see it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't want my kids to not have a present dad, and I don't want my kids to like look at a relationship and be like, I never want to be like them, you know. So everything kind of opens up when you have kids. Like it's like a bottle or a can of worms when it like opens and it explodes. You're like, oh shoot, I have these 2 little kids, and then all of a sudden all my trauma is coming out from when I was a kid. So I think that's why therapy is very, very,
and those traumas, like that's why I'm telling you guys, hey, I don't have kids or I'm not married, why should I be listening to this podcast? But it's like, damn, like you don't know how much time and pain you could be saving yourself if you do listen to these podcasts with the intention of like, I'm gonna take a thing or two, you know, because with kids, guys, like you and your husband might think you have the most perfect relationship, and then you're like, okay, I think it's time to have kids, and then you inevitably we try to live our lives through our kids, right?
Yeah.
So Blanca growing up, you know, I would say half of my life I grew poor. And then my parents started to, you know, really get their stuff together. And we kind of made it to like middle class by the end of before I moved out. So I can't really say I grew up poor my whole life. But Blanca did, in a sense, low income. So when it comes to like now raising kids, like before kids, you and I could have easily said, oh, we have all our, you know, what's that saying? We all sheeps in order.
All our ducks in a row.
All our ducks in a row.
No, our sheep in order.
And I think it's time to have kids. We both want to raise them, and then then you have kids, and you're like, hey, you can't tell Franco no. Like you want to give him everything. Blanca's worst enemy to tell Franco is the word no. And for me, it's like, no, I know that saying no, it sounds harsh, but it teaches very important boundaries that later on in the future. But then Blanca's like, but he's little. He doesn't understand. But I'm like, babe, the first 5 years of child development are the most important, you know, blah, 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 etc. Whatever the case may be. But do you see how like that stuff would have never arisen until you have your kid in front of you? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, because you want to give them a better childhood than you had.
Yeah.
But also because, I don't know, guys, I am like, honestly, like sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, how am I the parent that I am? You know, because before we had kids, and you guys know I don't want kids, blah, blah. Before that, when I would like envision myself as a parent, I never thought I'd be like this, you know? Because growing up, I didn't like kids. Like actually when I was little, I wanted to be a mom, right? I had my baby dolls or whatever.
You wanted to be a teacher.
And I wanted to be a teacher. And when I was like in middle school and then I was in high school and then I was kind of like 18, 19, I didn't like kids at all. Like I loved babies. I mean, babies they no hacen nada, you know, they're literally just like this. And then if they cry, you give them to your mom. But like kids, I was like, oh my God, kids are crazy. And I think it's because I grew up with my sisters and they would never, like I could never sleep in on the weekends because I had to take care of them. I could never go out with Jonathan, or if I did, like I had to beg my dad to take care of them so I could go out with him. And like, it was a lot, because I think stemmed from me having little sisters that I had to help raise. And so when I think about it now, I'm like, how the hell do I have this much patience, and where does all of this gentleness come from? And I think it is deep-rooted trauma, because nobody ever had that with me. You know, like my mom was very patient with me, but she worked a lot, you know? So it's like when I wasn't at school, I was at home with my dad because my mom was working on the weekends. So I follow a lot of child psychologists on TikTok and Instagram because I like hearing like their point of view. And it's like, it's not that I can't say no. It's that if I don't have to say no, I don't say it, you know? And it's like, there's other ways that you can say no to your child. And one thing that always like sticks to me, are you saying no because it's bad for him, or are you saying no because it's inconvenient to you? Like, for example, when he started learning how to make shakes, and that's all he wanted to do. He wants to make 3 shakes a day. So sometimes like you're like, you already had one an hour ago, you know? But it's like, am I saying no because le va a hacer daño? Or am I saying no because I don't want to get up, go help him make a shake, and then clean it up? You know, so that's every single time he asks me something, for me, it's always, that's the one thing that goes in my head. Am I going to say no because of this, or am I going to say no because it's inconvenient, you know? And that's why, like, when Jonathan says no to him, and this is what gets me, guys, because Jonathan is very compulsive in the way that he'll ask him something, he'll be like, no. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, vente, vamos pa afuera, pues. And I'm like, bruh, you could have saved him getting mad because you said no. You're still taking him outside. Like, why did you have to say no? You know? So, like, maybe he means not at this exact second, but you can be like, ahorita, estoy ocupado ahorita, te puedo sacar en 2 minutos, you know?
Yeah, but I started doing that.
But Jonathan, no. And then, vente, vámonos, pues. And then I'm like, you literally see confusion in his face because he's like, okay, like you just said no 2 minutes ago, you know? So it's just like, it's small things like that. And I think another thing that really helped us was when we were talking to that guy at the bank. This guy, I don't know, bro. He was just helping us open an account.
He seemed like one of those angels.
Yeah.
Like a random encounter you have that you'll probably never see again. and you're like, where did he come from? You know?
Yeah, like he's not a dad.
No.
He's like, he doesn't want kids, or he said he can't afford them right now. And he just gave us the best advice in the 30 minutes that we were there. And then I was talking to Kaylee because she works at the bank that he was at. And then it comes to find out, he's like, oh, he's a travel banker.
Mm-hmm.
So we're literally never going to see him again.
Maybe, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And that's the one thing he told us, like, what did he say?
Because he wanted to be a cop, and he took the training very far. And when you are becoming a cop, I guess you take a lot of psychology courses or classes. And he didn't become a cop, but he still has all that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave us dropped a bunch of bombs, with statistics to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about like the stability?
Yeah, stability. That the first 6 years of a child's life is what gives him stability or whatever. Confidence. So yeah, I think growing up, and I see this with my sisters now, and I talk to my mom, and I'm like, my sisters don't have confidence because growing up, guys, we literally never went out. We would just stay at home.
And you moved at least once every year, 2 years?
I think when I was already 17, that's when we started moving. So there was no stability for my sisters. Yeah. So my sisters growing up never went out, never had stability. And like we didn't build their confidence. Like we want to be like, you're so smart, you're so beautiful, you're so this, like, because we didn't know any of that. So now Jonathan literally is like, your sisters do not leave their room. And I'm like, yeah. And look, and as an outsider looking at, I'm like, bro, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. And then I think about it, I'm like, that's their safe space, because that they grew up just being in their room all day doing whatever they want, and there nobody can go into their safe space, So I put all of that into perspective. I'm like, I want this boy and this girl to be confident, to have a good relationship with their dad, because I think the father figure is like the best thing that they can have.
I just think that maybe you get caught up, babe, in a lot of people where like both parents have to be the exact same.
Yeah.
And it's like you can have two different variations because in life not everyone's the same.
Yeah.
Their teacher isn't going to be the same person as their bus driver.
Yeah.
The teacher's going to maybe show them more love, and then the bus driver, imagine your kid's like, oh, my teacher's so nice, time to get the bus, and the bus driver's like, hey, hurry up and shut up. And then Franco's like, whoa,
what the hell?
That's weird. But then like, I'm not saying that I'm the meaner one or stuff, but like,
you're more
Franco,
stern.
I'm more stern, but he also loves me like right now way a lot.
Way a lot? Yeah.
Not more
than you,
but,
say it, whore.
But he like, Blanca's like, oh my God, like you are so this and that with him. But he like, when it's time to like snow, or like he looks for me around the whole house. Like, I'll go up, I'll be like, pa, ahorita vengo, voy al baño. And he has to wait for me outside the door while I'm taking a dump, So it's like, there's just different ways. I'm not saying my way is wrong or right.
Let me cut you off, honey bunch. This is the real science behind it, guys. And yes, I am a certified psychologist. Just kidding. I should be.
Babe, wait, before you continue, you know what I saw the other day on TikTok?
No, don't tell me.
What it said, it's like TikTok to us is like all the information we get on TikTok is like our moms with Facebook.
Literally.
Remember when your moms would be like, read something on Facebook, be like,
still.
Si vas al gimnasio te vas a morir. And then now we're like, I read something, and it's like, you didn't read it, you saw it on TikTok.
No,
I saw on TikTok that blah blah blah.
On their bio is literally their certified psychologist, whatever. Their PhD.
But they're all different.
Yeah, they're all different, and they come from different.
Because the other day,
backgrounds.
Blanca and I got into it, and she's like, well, I read, and I was like, well, I just saw a doctor, and I gave her the whole, like, this was a legit child psychologist on YouTube, and he said this, and she was like,
No es cierto.
So then both,
you're gonna start
but
a fight.
You were kind of upset and that I was right.
No, you were not
yes,
right.
Because
you
he
were
said
upset
that
I was right because
so then I was like, nowadays having all this information is like really good, but it contradicts itself. Like you'll have two different doctors, but then they also have different opinions.
I wish I could remember this argument.
I remember. You want me to tell her?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, because okay, so Franco walked out, right? And now Mr. Big Boy opens the doors, both doors, front and back, by himself. So we need to buy the locks that go on top, right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, he's been opening the doors. So Franco opened the back door, the backyard door, after we specifically told him not to. He went outside. So then I closed the door and I locked it. And yeah, he was like patient, knocking. He's like, Papa, knocking it. And
Abre.
Abre. And I was like pretending like I couldn't hear him. I was letting him get a little bit, you know, like, oh shoot,
Scared.
I locked myself out type of deal. Obviously, I'm not traumatizing her having, you know, if there was a storm outside or a blizzard. I'm just like, I'm showing him.
I
And Blanca
remember
was
now.
like, Blanca, this is where she got. She's like, you can't show. You're 26, dude. He's 2 years old. You can't show. Okay. And I was like, babe, doctor. And then I brought out the YouTube thing. Doctor said that consequences on kids that don't have, what did I tell you? That
No.
don't have like,
Jonathan said, no, Jonathan,
shit, this was good.
what he told me, he was like, well, this doctor said that you have to let the kids see the natural consequences.
Yes,
And I
natural.
told him, I was like, you cannot be his natural consequence. Because Jonathan's like, I'm teaching him. And I'm like, that is not a natural, you are
yes, because I was like,
traumatizing
she's
him.
like, what are you teaching him? And I was like, babe, say we're not here.
Consequences.
Because I didn't have to lock the door. Sometimes he closes it and then he can't open it from the back.
You're straight up
because
capping,
his
Honey
hands
Bunch.
slip on the glass. No, babe, I've seen it. So I was like, imagine we're upstairs, or there's not really a time he's ever alone, but he's getting faster. So say I'm in the bathroom, she's with Belen, and he goes back there and we can't find him, and it's actually summer and it's 100 degrees, or it's actually raining, or it's actually snowing, or God forbid there's a loose dog or a coyote and we don't know where he is. I'm teaching him that shit, I shouldn't go out here because I can lock myself out type of thing, right? For his better future.
Yeah. And what
And you
I
were
was
like, you can't be that consequent. And
And
I
what I
told
was
her,
telling Jonathan is like, first of all, Honey Bunch, this kid is 2 years old. He cannot comprehend that he came outside and he knows that the door is unlocked because he didn't lock it himself. And every time he goes outside and closes the door, he can open it and come back inside by himself. So him doing that, he's not going to not be able to open it and be like, oh, I locked myself out. All he's seeing is his dad staring straight at him, not helping him open the door.
I wasn't staring at him.
Yes,
I had
you
my
were.
back to
You
him.
were behind the curtain and you were like,
No, I wasn't, babe.
bro, my sister was here and we both ate in that argument. And so he like starts telling me like, well, did you know that this doctor said? And I'm like, babe, you're literally telling me that this doctor said you have to let them go with their natural consequences. Like if he gets on a chair and he falls, oh shit, I shouldn't get on a chair because I'll fall. But I'm like, you are teaching him that he's gonna go outside.
But
he
no.
can't open the door.
Let me give you the
and he's
argument.
not- and his dad is right there,
This
and
is
his
why I
dad
locked the
isn't
door.
helping
This is why I
him.
locked the door. Guys, I give you this example and I ate with this one because I was like, sí o no? Didn't a kid just die from their grandma picking them up from the beach or whatever, and she forgot that she had kids in the back and she got off and the kid died? So I was like, your mom is her biggest paranoia, people breaking in, right? So she's always locking the door no matter what it is. If the front door's open and I just went to get freaking something from the car, she'll lock it. Imagine she doesn't know Franco's outside and she locks it. And then she goes and starts listening to music while doing the dishes. You know, and then her hearing, she's, you know, getting older. Like she doesn't hear the little knocks that his little fist can make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
But
I was
and that's
like-
what I was telling Jonathan. Like, I understand where your arguments is coming from, honey, but just look at yourself at what you're doing to him. He's knocking on the door is locked, and he sees you standing there.
I wasn't
would
staring at him. I was hiding behind the curtain.
Yeah, and you were
babe.
like,
no, I wasn't. You're such a liar. You're gaslighting. You're gaslighting, babe. I was not doing that. First, I
And
turned my
that's what
back
I'm saying, and
'cause I
that's
could
what
hear
I'm
his
saying.
knocks, and I
Like-
wanted him to see my back. Like he's like, oh shit, they can't hear me. And then I got behind the
but
curtain.
that's the thing, babe, that he's 2 years old. He doesn't
know,
understand
babe,
that,
but, like,
he can't hear me.
if
He-
you teach a
all he
kid, like,
understands
don't
is,
get near the
oh,
pool.
dad is right there and he's not helping me. So that's what I was saying. Like, if he couldn't see us, we were teaching him a lesson, none of us would be there, right? And we'd be like, okay, like he's a little confused. But he was literally looking at you. So I'm like, your argument doesn't stand here because he's watching you not help him. It's
I
not
know,
a
babe, but do you
consequence
see
that
if
he
your
went.
mom was the only one at home and he went out and she locked it,
I
she could be in the
understand.
kitchen doing stuff and not hear him, and he could be staring at your mom thinking like, why isn't she helping me? You know?
Yeah, but I think that's just a harder argument
I
because
just think like when
how
this stuff
wouldn't you
happens,
hear
I don't
him
think no one's
knocking?
right because obviously I have
All
my
of a
doctor.
sudden.
I have my doctor. I mean, we're both right. I have my doctor and she has
You're
her
both
TikTok
right in a
doctors.
sense.
Mine's an actual doctor. She gets TikTok influencers that think they're doctors.
I literally have seen her PhD on her
And,
bio, so don't come at me, bro.
So then I was like, you know,
Yeah, but every time I think about it, like I do get mad at Jonathan sometimes, because he does funny things that I'm like, you look so silly trying to teach him a lesson, right?
You say like teach him a lesson, freaking whip out the belt or something.
What?
Like that.
No, like that right there is the things that Jonathan does. Like he wants to be his natural consequence, right?
But like now, do you notice that he look like he'll leave it cracked open?
Yeah, but I'm saying like when I think about it deeply, I'm really grateful that he has you, because I could never be that for him. You know, like I could never.
And then these kids grow
make
up
him cry.
going into life and being like, I wonder why not everyone's giving me everything I want.
Yeah.
Or
so
dangers, you know?
Yeah, in a sense, like that's why I say like kids need their parent. You know, the kids need a stern parent, and I'm trying to raise a confident boy, and Jonathan's trying to raise a strong boy. You know, so I'm glad that he has both confidence and like sternness, because I'm going to be like, yay, honey, you can play baseball. And Jonathan's like, you better, when we get home, we're going to practice, because I cannot believe that you did that, you know?
Don't be putting scenarios
Bruh,
in my head.
I know you.
I personally went through that, so I wouldn't do that.
Why? Your parents would do that to you?
Like if Franco sucks at soccer and I know that he sucks,
No, but
we're just here to have fun, bud.
No, okay, I'm talking about when he's older and he's actually in the sport that he, like you, when you were in soccer or varsity and you messed up something, like you're going to go home and be like, hey, we're going to practice this 10 times so that you can get it next time. But I'm going to be like, good job, honey bunch. Like, even though he lost, you know? Yeah. So I'm glad that he has that. And for Belen, I feel like as moms, you're going to raise a strong girl, and she's going to have like your sweet spot, right? Like where you're like, honey, like I love you. And like, it's the part where she's never going to settle for less, because her dad already showed her so much more, you know?
Yeah, which is crazy, guys. I think el que quiere aprender, quiere. El que quiere salir adelante, quiere. And I always look at scenarios to learn, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like any other person now with your sisters living here would just be like, okay, there are my cuñadas. I leave them alone. I'm going to do me. I know they live here, but, you know?
Teach them.
And I interact with them to the point of like, okay, these are my little guinea pigs. I'm going to see how I can get along with them, so when Belen grows up, they love me. Mm-hmm. You know? So then I was like, okay. And then I give myself little tasks. When we first got Blanca's sisters and they moved in, they were super shy, quiet. They did not want to leave their room at all.
They couldn't
even look you in the eyes. I would used to tease them. And I remember one time in the car, I told them in front of, I was like, when I tease you guys, I expect you guys to retaliate and roast me back, because that's not fun. When just yourself. One person's roasting, like that gives me bad vibes. Like I'm just bullying you, and I don't like that. Like from now on, you have to like roast me back when I tell you something. And they were like, oh, okay. You know, all quiet. And now nos agarramos. And sometimes Blanca's like, damn, like you're a little bit too hard on them, or you're too mean, blah, blah. But look at them now, guys. Their confidence is like through the roof. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're the same at school. Like no one's going to pick on them. Like Jonathan already tells them everything.
Or not even like, that. Like I think that you've also like established a sense of security in them, where if they do get picked on, they tell us, you know? And back then, like my sisters, if they were going through something at school, they would never talk about it. And now like, she knows that she can text him, and like he'll be the messenger, right? Like if she wants everybody to know, he'll tell everybody. If she doesn't want anybody to know, he won't tell anybody. And now like my sisters they're confident. They'll be down here with us. They'll sit on the couch. They'll actually talk to us. It
comes with bruises and pinches. Now I'm like, oh, they're a little too confident, you know? But you know, it's amazing, because now I know I learn from that with my, like what I want to do with my daughter. Like, I feel like with her sisters, I can't be overly sweet, because that's, you know, a little weird too. So I'm like, okay, just as much as I'm bullying them, I need to incorporate sweetness with, you know, Belen when she grows up, so we can have the perfect match, you know?
Yeah, and
because
plus,
the person that should be giving them that sweetness is their dad. Mm-hmm. And no matter how cool Jonathan is, no matter how awesome and fun he is, I can't be the one to step in and like hug them when they're sad. That they have a dad for that reason, you know? So I know that everything that I can do for my part, I'm doing with Belen, and then even more because she's my daughter. You know?
And you're learning how to be a girl dad, like seeing them through, like you're getting to experience the teenage phase before she goes through the teenage phase, and now like you'll know exactly what to do, you know? Yeah, I just think it's like, I don't know, guys, having kids is freaking hard, and hard in a sense where it's like, holy shit, like we're raising these humans, you know? And it's like the first 6 years, nobody even knows. Even with food, like the first 2 years, it's like when your fat cells are building. So if you give them sugar too early on, like they're going to know how to deal with it. And then they're going to crave sugar for the rest of their life. So that's why people are so stern with parents. I know it's funny and sweet to see your 2-year-old drinking Coke. Don't give him Coke, you know?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. And it's just sad because our parents, like, to me, it makes me sad because I'm like, I just wish that our parents had all of this knowledge growing up, but they literally just did the best that they could. And your mom has told us before, you know, like his parents are such good advice givers that she was like, yeah, with Jonathan, I didn't have all of this knowledge. And now that I do, like, I'm incorporating that with the kids, you know, and you could see the change and the shift. And yeah, it freaking sucks that we got the bad, or what is it, the short end of the stick. Yeah. But as long as our parents are learning, like, it's nice. And as long as we're able to incorporate it with our kids, it's going to be good too. Which sucks because with all the trauma, like, obviously comes the conflict with us, like in our marriage. But if you can get through that, then you're going to raise good children, good humans, hopefully.
And like, hopefully what's cool is that it ends here. Like, I don't want to, you know, speak before, knock on wood, but if we do our jobs correctly and we have God in our life, we have potentially the perfect formula to raising great kids with a great relationship, right? Trauma free. I'm sure they're going to have their endeavors growing up, but let's just say they make it to 18 years old, 21 when they start dating, trauma free. And now, luckily, maybe God willingly, they meet another Gen Z raised child that also was taught with love and TikTok on the right side of TikTok, obviously. And now you have two little kids that will start the generations to start trauma free. Isn't that amazing? So I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, in 2024, guys, if you're a parent or you're a new parent, I'm sorry, but you have no reason to be a bad parent anymore. Yeah. Our parents, se las paso, especially the ones that migrated, that crossed without knowing a lick of English, didn't have access to the internet, this and that, or support groups. But now, guys, 2024, you have no reason to be a bad parent. You have the internet at your hands. With that comes TikTok's free forms on therapy. You don't even really have to pay like for what you can learn through therapy now. You obviously have to pay to be on one-on-one with someone, but like sometimes even, you know, the government pays for stuff like that. TikTok, access to, like, if you're sad, you can call your friend. Our parents back then couldn't even do that probably, you know, or, you know, Facebook support groups. So it's like, now you really don't have a reason to be a bad parent. And before, I'm just going to stop you right there because I know someone's writing a long ass paragraph right now telling us something. Before you guys post that comment, we're not saying that a good parent is a gentle parent, because I've learned this through you guys, obviously, like, commenting. I don't know what type of parent I would be if I didn't have the village I have, right? Like, I don't have that experience of being like a mom by myself, where Jonathan has to go to work, where I don't have my mom to help me, where I don't have our siblings, my suegros, like, where we don't have this huge village that can help us raise our kids. So I don't know what type of mom I would be. And I like to think that even if I was still working, even if Jonathan was still working, I would still try my best to be a gentle parent, in the sense that I would still incorporate the parenting I'm doing now, right? That's how I like to think. I don't know how it is, because I would probably be more overstimulated. I'd be more stressed, whatever. But you can't dread on the what if, babe. Yeah. This is your life and this is what's happening, so we can say it confidently. Yeah. Gracias a Dios, it's not like that. So why are you going to be like, I don't know if I would? No, this is life. You're not, you know? So you can say it. And if people want to get butthurt over that, I'm not going to take back and apologize because I'm saying, if you're a bad, no, like, doesn't matter your scenario. These kids no tienen la culpa de nada, you know? Yeah. And a bad, like, you guys just have to define what a bad parent is to you. Like, I know people get stressed, I know people get overstimulated, I know, like, because I follow a lot of moms on TikTok that are stay-at-home moms, and they're always like, I've seen the ones like, how do I tell my toddler after he asked me the same thing 30 times that I just want him to shut up? And it's like, obviously she doesn't tell him that because she knows consciously that that's being a bad parent, because your toddler is literally like, him asking you the same thing 30 times is them developing correctly like they should. But it's like, just like, what we mean by being a bad parent is like that you don't know that you're being it consciously, you know? Like, I would say consciously, no? Subconsciously? No, consciously.
That's what I said, consciously.
Oh.
Like sometimes you'll be stressed and you'll say something and then regret it later because you're like, oh shit, that was really mean. But it's like, no, like when you're telling them things on purpose or because you like I said, it's not convenient for you, that's when you have to step back and look at yourself and be like, well, instead of me getting mad at him right now, can I go help him do this thing? Can I answer the question 30 times? Can I be a little bit nicer, a little bit more gentle, you know? So yeah, I completely agree with Jonathan. And even his mom was telling me the other day, he's like, I'm so proud of how you guys are raising Franco. And I'm so excited to see how this generation of children end up being, you know, because we don't know, like how she said, like, we don't know how these gentle parented kids are going to turn out because it hasn't happened yet. Like we don't see a teenager that's been gentle parented yet. So we'll see.
But I remember when my mom said that, but it's like, Gen Z didn't invent the perfect gentle parenting, babe. Cody Ko loves his parents to death, and he's 33. You know, I feel like these parents, these good parents, have always been around.
Yeah,
you know, because like I'm not, when I'm telling you in 2024 there should be no excuse for bad parents, I'm not letting these people off the hook that were pre-internet like our parents. You see your kid crying and you still hit him. That's not like, oh, I just didn't know. No, you knew. Okay, cut the bullshit. Like, too, like, you knew that you shouldn't have done that to your kid. You knew that you should have been more patient because deep down you felt bad. Yeah. So I'm not gonna also let them off the hook. Same way as like, oh, now you guys are creating. No, like they've always been around. Good parents have always been around since the start of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that is true because when I think about it, like my mom was a gentle parent to me in her own way. Yeah. You know, like my mom never hit me. You. My mom never like traumatized me. Like I was scared of the dark and she would never use that against me, you know? So yeah, fuck now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, my mom was a gentle parent. Yeah. Like at her own resource way, you know, because she still had to go to work and like,
you are a babe. You're like, I wonder we haven't seen them yet. You are the product of me. One, by a bad way, your dad wasn't involved. So it was automatic default gentle parenting. But then your mom, because she was actively a gentle parent. I've never seen your mom use bad things to like scare. And I'm like, damn, she has a lot of patience, you know? Yeah. Whereas like
or even like with my sisters, like sometimes when I'm like, damn, like just pinch her or something. Yeah. But my mom has never like, that's insane to me. Never mind, guys. I guess I am product of gentle parent.
Yeah, but it's okay, babe.
And then isn't that why I'm a gentle parent though?
Yeah, because you see, like, I turned out good. Yeah. You know, and then me, I'm like, you know, I turned out good, but then obviously I don't, you know. A lot of
drama. Yeah, and I think it's nice that I turned out the way I did because when I think about it, like, I can just imagine what a confident girl I would have been if my dad was involved in my life, you know, the way that he should have been. Like, I like I wouldn't have put up with a lot of things. I would have, there's a lot of things that I would have done differently if I had that dad figure. But since I didn't, like, that's why I said, like, I was always, and to this day, I still have some of that, like, where I'm dependent on you for a lot of things. And it's like, yeah, at what extent does it get unhealthy, you know? But I think it's just something that we all need to look in. Like right now, even if you're like I don't like when we talk about this because, and this is going to sound a little harsh, but if the shoe fits for someone, they're going to come back at us and hit us with I can't believe you're talking like you're talking out of your ass because you have all this help, because you have a village. A lot of us don't have it. And I'm sorry for that. And I can't imagine how it would be if I didn't have one, but you guys have everything at your fingertips, you know, so you can learn how to be a better parent. You can learn how to go, or you can go to therapy to learn your traumas and why you are the way you are. Because I've seen a lot of words like, I just get so stressed and I don't know why I react the way that I do. It's like, well, that's why you have to go to therapy so you can talk to someone. And guys, honestly, like if you can't afford therapy and you are religious in a slightest bit, churches offer therapy for donation base, you know, so you can even start there too. So I'm just saying, if you want to be a better person, you can. A better parent, a better wife, a better husband. Yeah. I think this is our sign. That's our sign that we need to cut it. She's waking up. She's going to get
sometimes
hungry.
When I hold her, like she was just holding her the whole podcast, her arm falls asleep.
Oh, yeah.
And she gets so angry, guys, because she's like, my arm's dead, Dad.
I can't feel it.
But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed our little rant this weekend. Sometimes it gets deep and intense, but you know what? That's spill the beans, you know? We're real. We're not here for drama with other people. We're not here for that stuff. We're just here to try to heal inner kids, you know.
And we're not here to put on a front either that we're perfect parents or perfect
I don't have
marriage.
to tell you that Blanca and I argue and we fight and this and that we want to divorce each other every other minute, but then also love each other. Like, I could put up on a front and say everything's
We're
dandy.
perfect. I love him.
She
And
loves
we
me.
never fight.
And then randomly you hear these stories on so and so are getting divorced, and it's like, damn, like I didn't see that coming. They look so happy, you know. But yeah, guys, and hopefully you take everything with a grain of salt. We're not professionals. We're not therapists. We're just people talking from experience that like to go into a lot of rabbit holes and learn off of other people.
Yep. And also, I think that something else is that you guys, like I've said this a lot because someone literally commented the other day. They're like, Blanca, you have no say in it because you waited for Jonathan to change and you waited for him to like be the man that you wanted him to be. And I'm like, that's why I literally always say that you guys don't be like me. Like, you do not have to settle. You do not have to wait. You do not have to put up with anything. Like, we are in 2024, girl. I promise you there's someone out there that is not gonna, that you're not gonna have to change, you know? And like I've always said, people don't change because you want them to. Jonathan didn't change because I told him, hey, you better change if you want to be with me. He changed because he wanted to be a different person, you know?
Yeah.
So look at us as a product of, what is it? Like of an exception, you know? Don't look at us as the goals because, you know, we went through a lot, and I'm glad that we get to sit here and talk to you guys about it so that you can learn, you know? And if you want to wait, like that's on you, but you can also know that you don't have to. You don't have to settle for anything. No job, no person, nothing. Now that we're in 2024.
Guys,
same.
I heard, we'll end on this note. When you play a video game, and sorry, girls, maybe you can't relate to this saying, but when you play video games and there's different levels, there's a different enemy at every level. But that's how you know you're going in the right way.
Damn. Period, King.
So if you're crossing, you're like, damn, there's this new obstacle, this new enemy, this new coworker that's a bitch. There's, this and that. It's because you're just going through life and you're passing these different levels. So you're headed in the right way.
Yeah. And just know that you can literally start being a better person tomorrow. Whoever you were, whatever you've done in your past, doesn't matter, because we are living right now. And it's like they say, everything has a solution except death. So if you want to be a better person, if you want to change your life completely tomorrow, you can, because you literally are alive, you know?
Today is the youngest you'll ever be, guys. So take advantage of it. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week.
Yay Networks.